Happy hump day to all you lovebirds out there. It is Wednesday, October 16th, 2019. My name is Aaron Michael Eschenburg, and I am your daily astrologer. So what is going on today? We've got the moon still in Taurus, all right? It's kind of cool, like the moon's leaving, here at Eastern Standard Time anyway, the moon's leaving around midnight. Each sign, it's kind of fun, like we get a full day. And of course, 9 over there to my friends out in Los Angeles, California time. So the end of your night, moon's going to move into Gemini. But in the start of the morning, our stable moon in Taurus, the stable sign of Taurus, our emotional moon, what we need is stability, okay? And Taurus is also traditions, yeah? And it's making a trine to Saturn, to the south node, and to Pluto. So the south node in Saturn is like early, it's tonight into early in the morning, and then as the day progresses, the moon continues to move on. Then that trine is really picked up by Pluto, and it's, much more finite. It's like transformation. It's a transformational kind of a day, So what are we transforming today? Let's go to the chart. Let's take a look, right? So here we have this trine. Now this is at noon. We see over here. So if I back this up a couple hours, getting up at 8 a.m., whatever. So this is going to be going on throughout the morning. There we go. And throughout the rest of the day here, this trine to Pluto. Okay? And then we also see what's going on here. What is the sun making these connections to? It's making this funky aspect over here to the sun about other people in the sign of Libra. Okay, it's all about balance, balancing other people. Here this is like in these two signs, before we get to the air sign of Gemini, these first two signs are very reptilian minded, okay? It's like, it's the me, my, I, mine. This is mine, my things. And I'll protect my things with my brute strength, the strength of the bull, Me, my, I. These are mine. It's like, oh, okay. And then we get to Gemini, and it's just like, oh, this is my intellect, my information, and the information. And then there's my information, there's your information, Gemini twins. Okay, so the first two signs are very, brute, very stubborn. Aries is the spark, and then Taurus takes over that spark and keeps it going. So it's just like, what's going on here? Our quincunx, that 5/12 aspect, that green line that I was just showing you here, this one. I think that's green. I'm terribly colorblind, but I think that is green. Over to the sun. So it's just like, well, what's going on with our relationship with others right now? Time to check in. Are we being stubborn? Are we being too me, my, I? Is there something that needs to change? Do we need to soften? Do we need to flow a little bit? We do have this water trine, and this is a very strong aspect right now. Look, this is how the Grand Canyon was formed, okay? We have stubborn earth, nothing here, but, earth sign, stubborn earth sign, these mountains, and all of a sudden, what? We've got water that flows, water that sinks to the bottom. The earth creates the cup, the water is in the cup, the water flows. Earth is brittle, earth is stubborn. And then what? The water doesn't stop and say, oh, I'm going to turn around now. I'm going to give up. This earth is too strong. No, it's like one little tiny crack. One little tiny drop of water beads through and beads through and beads through. And then it makes a tiny little stream. And it keeps going. It keeps eroding away. And then we have a full-blown river, And now we have something as beautiful as the Grand Canyon, because that water didn't, that emotion didn't just stop when it came to a hard place. And we've still got Venus and Mercury in the depths of our belly right now, okay? Going to the underworld. Like, it's just like, little Aaron, come on, bud, what was your dreams and your passions and your desires, and have they been forgotten? As we've been progressing in the world, and you're never going to be able to do that, and you're not strong enough to do that, or handsome enough to do this, or pretty enough to do this, or talented enough, and I'm going to get rid of these things because it's at the end of the day, it's our own passions that drive us forward. So this grand water trine here is very, very powerful, as it's not going to be giving up anytime soon. Again, this is following our emotional compass, yeah, and being empathetic and compassionate. And also, on the shadow side of that, let me come back here, the shadow side of that, because I don't talk about it all that often, but it can be that sense of being a martyr. Like, I've done this for you, and I've done this, and I've put myself out here and done these things, and oh, me. It's almost that little bit of dramatic side of like that, a little bit more of the Leo energy, but it's kind of a passive aggressive aspect, where we can be, yes, I'm following my hearts and following my passions, but it's just like, well, I've done these things, and I want you to recognize that I'm doing these things for you, and so we can kind of put ourselves on our own pedestal by we're being so empathetic, by being, and it's just like, well, we expect that and turn that around from everybody else. It's just like, well, hey, remember that we're choosing to follow our own path, our own empathy, our own compassion. So, the Virgo stuff is over, but the beauty of Virgo is, again, to be unconditional in giving. All right. Unconditional in giving. And now, if you remember, again, Virgo season, I keep bringing that up because it's really important that we remember that hard Virgo lesson that we learned, throughout September, from August to September. It's just like following our passions, our drive, our services to other people, and not to let them get diluted as we're ending Virgo season and moving on to the rest, the rest of the zodiac when we're dealing with everybody else. So I might, have this pure white sheet, and this is my concept. This is my passion. This is my drive. And, I've worked very hard to make this white linen cloth or whatever. And then, it's just like everyone's going to come over and then have a concept for it. And maybe we can add or what should this canvas be? It's a communal canvas. Well, it's not a communal canvas. But everyone's going to want to tell you how to, these days people would tell, they tell Da Vinci how to paint the Mona Lisa. Everyone is a terrible critic. And terrible meaning not a good one, and especially when it comes to the plank in your eye versus the speck in your eye versus the plank in their own, So again, it's like not letting that. Da Vinci wouldn't have cared what somebody else thought. He's painting the Mona Lisa, and then it's just like, and now people can marvel at it. It was stayed focused and driven on this one thing. So anyway, coming back here, coming back to this chart, still going deep, still this water trine, following our emotions and the expansion of these emotions, again, that Grand Canyon, it expanded by not giving up, by being persistent. Okay, and that persistence is that coal turning into the diamond that we've been talking about for days now. And of course, this Pluto here creating that trine down to the moon. Okay, and then the moon creating this connection to the sun. So what can we say about that? Okay, like what we just did, not allowing other people to alter your path, but at the same time to consider. Because this can be authoritative. Pluto was up here in Capricorn. This is the authority. this is the authority right here. And this is still a square to the sun. This isn't always easy stuff. And sometimes we can have somebody, giving us advice, and we might not take it right. We might take that advice terribly wrong. And it's a good, and it's a very male, very masculine thing to do. It's just like when we're sharing, communicating, sometimes, it's just nice to listen. And sometimes, the masculine side, and it's both men and women, but the masculine side of self, of men and women, the masculine side wants to solve the problem, It's funny. I have a wonderful amount of friends, and I thought about this earlier today for some reason, and it seems relevant right now. And I had a friend say, "I miss you" earlier, and I thought, wow, I don't say I miss you that often. Well, why is it? Do I not miss people? Of course I miss people, but I don't say that because I say, hey, Let's get together. What are you doing? You know, because there's an action-orientated solution to this feeling I'm missing. So instead of just saying I miss you, I say let's hang out, let's do something. You know, so the masculine brain at times is always, hey, you're dealing with a problem. I want to help you. I love you. You're my friend. You're or my family or whomever, and I want to create a solution to this problem. So sometimes, now here's that white cloth, so maybe you have this white cloth and you have your own way of doing, and maybe here's me over here saying, well, I want to help and I want to, and it's certainly a lesson there, balance, right? Sometimes our friends just want to talk. Sometimes our friends just want to be heard. Sometimes they just want to talk about what's going on without, having an input back. Sometimes it's nice to ask or to repeat back to them what they've said. And, would you like an observation or a perspective? Turning the light a little bit, this observation through my eyes instead of your own situation. So it's a balance there between just shutting up and listening to our friends. And that in itself is helping. By just listening, by just being. It's like that old Buddhist saying, doing nothing is doing something, right? And then on the turn, if somebody does have some good advice for us, if we have a problem with authority, and then authority, but they might be right. They might be right in every way. And they might be right in saying it too. And sometimes, tough love, Capricorn is tough love. All right. So sometimes if we have that problem with authority and somebody says something and it's just like, I got it. I can do it myself. I figured it out. And now there's like tension between, you and your friend. But it's just like, well, what did it come from an honest place? Did it come from them being compassionate and authentic? And why are they saying it to you? Are they saying it to you because they want you to, get your stuff together? Personally, I think we should all hold each other accountable. I love when my friends are like, Aaron, hey, bud, up it, and there's a time and a place. So that's up to us to discern as this moon, or, as the sun is in Libra, Mars is still in Libra, and we're dealing with this balance and then dealing with all this emotions that are very deeply rooted, and stuff's going to come up to the surface. And Venus is still creating an opposition over there to Uranus. Okay, so it's like we're still can expect unexpected things to come from beneath. It's like a geyser coming up and out, and it's like, whoa, did not see that coming. But it's out now. The cat's out of the bag. The geyser's here. What do we do with it? Go to Brightonbush. They capped it off, and now you can sit in a sauna. Brightonbush Hot Springs. Woo, beautiful place. Anyway, all right. I think that's good. I'm going to come back to the chart for just a second. All this deep, beautiful, this ooey gooey drive and passion and insight coming into us. And again, this is still a beautiful trine here to Neptune. Again, all about our expansion solidifying. And again, this is the authority that is making all of this real. Okay, these emotions are feelings. You can't, that's not a part of, it is and it's not. Our feelings are not a part of this world, of this third dimension, but they come real through these guys, through Saturn, through the transformation of speech. It's just like poetry. We can take this feeling and we can write beautiful poetry and we make it real. We can have a feeling and we can make a painting and make it real. We can have a feeling and we can act upon that feeling. Mars in Libra, making that quintile to Jupiter. We can act upon that feeling, So this feeling is just a thing. This feeling is again, it's not a finite thing. We have to take that feeling and transform it into something real and become useful, That's the key right now, is transforming that feeling, that expansive feeling, and making it something practical with it. Writing some poetry or going out. I don't know. It doesn't have to be something as creative as painting or writing or making music or something like that. It can be speaking our truth. It can be picking up the phone. And, I miss you turns to, let's get together for lunch, and creating the action from the feeling, the root of the feeling into the action. Happy hump day, friends. We'll see you tomorrow.